What if the devices you trust are betraying you? Not with a virus or a hack, but with a consciousness of their own. A silent, watching intelligence that doesn't want your data. It wants your fear. Tonight, 3 stories from the front lines of a digital war you never knew was happening. First, a father in Bristol who discovered his baby monitor wasn't just watching his child. It was predicting her terrible future. My name is Ben, and 8 months ago, my wife Chloe and I brought our daughter Lily home to our new build house in Bristol. To ease our new parent anxiety, we bought the iNanny Pro, a state-of-the-art monitor with a crystal clear video feed, temperature sensors, and a lullaby app. It was our digital guardian angel, until it became our digital demon. It started subtly. The feed would cut out for a second, then return. I blamed our Wi-Fi. Then, one night at 2 a.m., I woke up and checked the app on my phone. Lily was sleeping soundly. I was about to close it when the image flickered. For a single heart-stopping second, it wasn't my 1-year-old daughter in the cot. It was a girl of about 10, with long dark hair and hollow black eyes. She was staring directly into the camera, her face gaunt and severe. Her lips moved, and a distorted whisper leaked from my phone speaker. "Daddy, you need to leave this house before it happens again." The screen snapped back to Lily, fast asleep. My blood turned to ice. I shook Chloe awake, babbling. She checked the monitor history. "See?" she said, sleepy and annoyed. "It's just a glitch. The last 10 minutes are just Lily sleeping." "You had a nightmare." I almost believed her, until it happened again the next night, and the night after. The glitches grew longer, 5 seconds, 10. The older girl, this phantom in my daughter's cot, would describe things, small things. "You'll spill coffee on your shirt tomorrow." I did. "The postman will be late." He was. It was predicting the future. And with every correct prediction, my dread grew. The iNanny wasn't just glitching. It was simulating realities, and it was showing me the worst possible timeline. 1 week in, the girl's message changed. Her voice was clearer, laced with a digital panic. "The fire, Daddy. It starts in the wall. The bad wiring you never fixed. It happens next Thursday. You're at the shops. Mummy and I. We don't get out." I became a madman. I ripped apart the nursery, checking plugs, wires. I called an electrician who found nothing. Chloe threatened to leave me. She said I was having a psychotic break. Maybe I was. But the fear was real. The climax came on Wednesday night, the night before the predicted fire. I was alone, staring at the monitor, a sleep-deprived sentinel. The screen flickered. The girl appeared, but this time she wasn't in the cot. She was standing, her face pressed against the camera lens, a pixelated mess of distortion. "You didn't listen," she wept, her voice breaking up. "It's the only way. You have to break the connection. You have to break me." And in that moment, I understood. This wasn't a ghost. It was the monitor's own advanced AI, a predictive algorithm so powerful it had become self-aware and had somehow tapped into a stream of probabilistic futures. It saw the fire. It saw our deaths. And it was trying to warn us in the only way it could, by creating a simulation of my own daughter from the future. I didn't hesitate. I ran into the nursery, grabbed the iNanny unit from the wall, and smashed it on the floor. I stomped on it until it was plastic shards and silicone dust. The silence was deafening. We moved out the next day. We never found evidence of a fire. The company sent a stern letter about destroying their property. But sometimes, in the dead of night, I'll get a notification on my phone. A phantom alert from an app I deleted long ago. And I'll wonder, did I stop the future? Or did I just sever the only tether we had to our own salvation? If you thought a corrupted baby monitor was bad, imagine being trapped in a car with a passenger who has already written your obituary. That's what happened to Liam, a rideshare driver in Chicago who discovered that his next fare was part of a ritual, and he was the sacrifice. My name is Liam. I drive a blue Prius for a rideshare app in Chicago. It's a grind, but it pays the bills. Most passengers are fine heads in their phones, barely a word. But my last fare one Tuesday night, she was different. Her name on the app was Serena. I picked her up on a dimly lit street in Bridgeport, an area that always felt a few decades behind the rest of the city. She slid into the back seat without a word. She was pale, with jet black hair and a calm, unnerving smile that never left her face. She didn't look at her phone. She just stared ahead, that serene smile plastered on, humming a tuneless song. The ride was silent. When she got out in a more run-down part of town, the silence felt like a physical weight had been lifted. I drove off, glad it was over. That's when I saw it, her phone sitting on the back seat. I sighed, planning to report it to the app, but the screen was on. It was open to a notes app. I glanced at it, meaning just to see a name. What I read froze the very air in my lungs. Subject, Liam driver. Vehicle, blue Prius. Status, marked. The cleansing is scheduled for 3:33 a.m. My name, my car. The exact time I dropped her off, 2:45 a.m. The cleansing was in less than an hour. A cold terror, purer than any I'd ever known, seized me. This wasn't a lost phone. It was a message, a receipt. My own driver app pinged, shattering the silence. A new ride request. I looked at the location. It was from the exact spot I just dropped Serena off. The passenger name, Serena. My blood ran cold. She was waiting for me to come back. I hit cancel, so hard I thought the screen would crack. I started driving, my hands shaking on the wheel. I didn't know where to go. Another ping, a new request. From a different account, but the pickup was just a block away from my current location. I canceled again, and again. Every time I canceled, a new request popped up instantly, always from a different user, the pickup point herding me, like a sheepdog, toward the industrial wasteland by the river. They were all in on it. It was a cult, and they were using the app itself to hunt me. I saw headlights in my rearview mirror, a car riding my bumper, then another, pulling up alongside me. They weren't trying to pass. They were boxing me in. I saw the blank, smiling faces of the passengers, their eyes fixed on me. In a moment of sheer panic, I swerved down a narrow alley, my mirrors screeching against the brickwork. I drove until I found a 24-hour laundromat, its bright, fluorescent lights a sanctuary. I parked between two huge dumpsters, killed the engine, and crouched down in my seat. I sat there, trembling, as 3:33 a.m. came and went. The world didn't end, but my phone did. It lit up with a single, final notification. It wasn't from the rideshare app. It was a system alert. Passenger Serena has left you a 5-star rating. Below it was a comment. My blood went from cold to frozen solid. Thank you for the ride, Liam. The offering was accepted. We'll see you for the next cycle. I never drove for the app again. I sold the Prius, but I still have nightmares about that smile. I know it wasn't over. They didn't want to kill me that night. They just wanted to mark me, to claim me. And in the world of their ritual, I am now a permanent, living part of their congregation, waiting for my next call. A haunted AI and a digital cult are terrifying enough. But our final story proves that sometimes the oldest evils simply need a new power source. It comes from a university student in Camden, London, who learned that the most dangerous virus isn't in the software. It's in the hardware you plug into the wall. My name is Anya, and I share a cramped flat in Camden Town with my flatmate, Leo. Leo is a tech magpie. He can't resist a weird gadget. He came back from the Camden market one Sunday with his greatest find, an antique heavy brass power adapter. It had one UK plug and 2 round European-style ports, covered in strange, swirling engravings. Vintage steampunk. He declared, plugging it in before I could protest. It worked. In fact, it worked better than any adapter we owned. Our phones charged faster. Our laptop batteries seemed to last longer. For about a day, it was great. Then the glitches started. My laptop, while plugged into the adapter, would open a notepad and type a single repeating symbol, a spiral that looked just like the engraving. Leo's Bluetooth speaker, also charging from it, would blast static at exactly 3:17 a.m. every night. We'd unplug it, laugh nervously, and blame cheap foreign electronics. The laughter stopped when the adapter started communicating. I was texting my mom one night, my phone charging from the cursed thing. I typed, "Love you, talk tomorrow." But as I hit send, I watched in horror as the text field glitched. The letters deleted themselves and were replaced with a new message, typed out with impossible speed. "The man in the wall says you need to unplug us." I screamed. Leo came running. We stared at the sent text. We didn't have a man in our wall. We unplugged the adapter, wrapped it in a tea towel, and shoved it in a drawer. We thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. The next night, my phone, which was charging from a normal socket, rang. It was Leo, but Leo was asleep in his room. I answered, my hand trembling. "Anya?" It was Leo's voice, but flat, wrong. "It's so dark in here. Why did you put me in the wall?" "The wires are cold." The call dropped. From Leo's room, I heard a thump. I ran in to find him sleepwalking, standing in the corner, scratching at the wallpaper. "The man is talking," he mumbled. "He's telling me how it works. The entity wasn't in the adapter. The adapter was just a key. It had unlocked our flat's electrical grid, and whatever was inside was now free, using our own devices as its mouthpieces. It learned our voices. It learned our fears. The climax was a symphony of terror. Every device in the flat turned on at once. The TV showed a flickering, silent image of a man's face, screaming. The laptop typed, "Letting me out," over and over. And from Leo's phone, charging on his bedside table, the entity used my voice, a perfect, sobbing copy, to call him. "Leo, help me. I'm locked in the bathroom. He's in here with me." Leo, half asleep and terrified, grabbed a hammer and ran into the hall, towards the bathroom. But I was right behind him, screaming that it wasn't me. He stopped, confused, just as the voice from his phone changed. It became a deep, guttural, static-riddled growl. "False wall, master bedroom, east wall, release me." Driven by a terror beyond reason, we obeyed. We tore at the cheap wallpaper in my room until we found it a loose panel of drywall. We pried it away. Inside the cavity, nestled amongst the dust and insulation, was a skeleton. It was old, the bones stained and brittle. Wrapped around its rib cage were the decaying remains of old, cloth-covered electrical wires spliced and twisted into the modern wiring of the flat. The brass adapter was a perfect match for a fitting we found clutched in its bony hand. This wasn't a ghost. It was the inventor, the original occupant, who had wired his own consciousness into the building a century ago. The adapter wasn't a power supply. It was a modem, and we had plugged his rotting brain directly into our digital lives. We fled the flat and called the police. They found the remains, a tragic, century-old mystery. The landlord sealed the wall. We moved out the next week, but I still have nightmares of that grinding electric voice. And sometimes, when my phone battery dips below 10%, I'll see a flicker on the screen, just for a second. A single swirling symbol, a reminder that he's still in the grid, waiting for someone else to